going over a significant distance. The other one
using
starts
it to
soften
really.
up. Yeah.
And this is the 81, huh?
Yep. This is the better one. This is the one everybody wants. This truck kind of has the
One
options that
everybody
everybody
wants.
This one, really, I mean, it has the brush guard that everybody's looking for. It has the better shocks. This color is like, I think we built 3 in this color, and it's got the 2-tone and paint appearance. I think this is one of one. There's like no joke.
So literally no one has it.
This one's
I don't know why it's here.
No, I don't know why it's here either.
It really does.
It doesn't has no business being here.
It doesn't.
And it's a night edition. Like, it doesn't have chrome. It's black.
Yeah, you're right. No chrome. I love that it has no chrome, actually.
So one thing I like about, and not to toot Darren and Tim's horn, but one thing I like about them is when they build trucks, they kind of let me give input because I know it's going to look cool because I've seen them all.
Yeah.
And you guys always end up with the coolest trucks. Like, not to toot your own horn, but like,
Yeah. Good.
it's always cool when I
That's
come
awesome.
here because it's like, yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I would have built, you know. So, well, again, the whole idea was fitting a 40-inch tire. A 40-inch tire with our wheel on it weighs like 160 pounds times 2, so that's a lot of weight in the steering. So there's a PSC hydraulic steering assist. So this one on the camera, down low. Yep. So it's got hydraulic lines going to your steering. So what that does is it's just basically a big shock. So when you put in feedback to the steering wheel, this hydraulic ram forces the tires back and forth. So you're not having to muscle through it. Is the easiest way to explain it. So
It's easier to drive.
yeah, you could turn these 40-inch mud terrain tires with like one finger versus having to fight the tires.
One of those like ranchers
Steering stabilizers?
No, that's way more. That's crazy.
So you're not fighting tires. You're talking about the tire size. It's a 40 by 1350 by 17. Those numbers are in inches. So 40 top to bottom, okay, diameter. 1350 is 13.5 inches wide. 17 is the wheel height. Now, we only give you a 17-inch wheel intentionally because we want to give you this sidewall. This sidewall is the distance from the top of the rim to the top of the tire. The more sidewall you have, the more it's going to be able to absorb impacts in the ground. Like, even if you're driving on the freeway and there's a pothole, if you had, 20, 22-inch rim, you're going to feel that as soon as you hit it.
Mm-hmm.
This sidewall acts like a pillow. The more pillows you have, it's more cushioning. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Better good night's sleep.
The other advantage to that is when you off-road, okay? When you're off-roading, the basics of off-roading 101 is dropping your tire pressure, right? So you drop your tire pressure, it expands your footprint on the ground, it gives you a larger contact patch on the ground, which improves traction. So, like if you think of a tank, those things go anywhere because they've got freaking 40 feet of contact on the ground. Same idea here. Getting you a 17-inch wheel means you can drop your tire pressure down to 15, 12 psi, and you get a larger contact patch on the ground. If we gave you a 20-inch rim, you'd only be able to air down so far before you're riding on the rim, or you'd hit a rock and it'd smash your rim. So that's intentional. This wheel itself is called a Catla. It's a cast aluminum wheel to save weight. All of our wheels have the valve stem in a little pocket. You see how it's got its own little home here? That's intentional. So when you're off-roading, if you smash it on a rock, you can't break it because it'll only move so far before it stops. So if you're off-roading and you smash a rock on that, it won't break. If you look at a competitor wheel, if you break that thing off, there's like a 20-cent piece of metal in there, and if that breaks, you lose all your air, and then you're using your spare or you're calling AAA. So like stupid little stuff like that could make all the difference in your trip. And it's nice to point out little dumb stuff like that, because if AEV's paying attention to like that, then your bumpers are golden, your suspension's good. So like if we're paying attention to small stuff like that, it's worth pointing out. That's one of my favorite things.
In the we thought of everything category.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who does that?
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Then you're working your way back. I guess to talk about the fender flares. They're 7 inches wide. Okay, because the offset of the tire is so aggressive that we have to put a flare on the outside of it to keep it DOT compliant. But now the widest point of the vehicle is this flare. So to stay DOT compliant, we have to put marker lights on. So it's got marker lights in the front and in the rear. But now the truck is so dang big, you have to put cab clearance lights on it. So cab clearance lights is a DOT compliance thing for the height. So again, stuff that nobody thinks about unless they're trying to make sure that this is legal in all the states. But when you're spending $150 grand on a truck, you don't want to be worried about crossing a border and getting a ticket.
Yeah.
So that's the fender flares. These are actually really cool to see if you were to take it off the vehicle. UV stable cross-linked polyethylene. So basically what that is, UV stable means it's not going to fade and dry and crack in the sun. Cross-linked polyethylene is the type of plastic. It's roto-molded, so instead of having a sheet of plastic that's stamped into the shape, it's literally, there's like a nozzle with holes punched in it, and it shoots liquid plastic in a 360 degrees to get the shape. They coat it till about a 1/4 inch thick, and the flare is fully in box. So it's not just C-shaped and bolted to the side. It's enclosed all the way around for strength. So it's 1/4 inch thick, so it's boxed all the way around. And then we have to put our own wheel well liner in there, because otherwise it would look like Frankenstein broke it.
Yeah.
So, flare extensions down onto the bumper just to keep it seamless. We're going to keep going for you, mate.
Probably keep going.
Good. All right. Like I said, this one's got our two-tone paint just to break up the color. Black on the lower side and then the factory body color. And then the red pinstripe just to break up the color. Same option on the hood. That's part of our paint appearance package. Yeah. And then it also covers the roof, the same black, and the tailgate. So the tailgate, I'm showing that real quick. The center section is painted black with the same red pinstripe around the outside. Really sought after option. In the sun, it really pops and looks really cool.
Yeah.
Being a mega cat, I think the best thing for it. And factory power steps. Yeah. If you can't get these from the factory, we have the option of putting them on for you. This is another nice thing to point out. We even changed the tire placard information. So if he ends up going to Discount Tire or somewhere and just to get the tires rotated, a lot of places they won't touch it because it says it has a 30-inch tire. So this just makes it easier to get his tires worked on. The instrument cluster has an overlay signifying it's an AEV built vehicle. You can't buy that. It's only put on an officially AEV built vehicle. And the headrests are all logoed as well. Again, none of these options are available unless it's a true AEV built vehicle. And coming back to the rear, a lot of the same terminology as the front. So maintain the factory springs to keep your payload, keep your towing capacity. It's got the same 8100 series remote reservoir rear shock. This one being a 2500, since it's not leaf sprung, you got a track bar to keep the axle centered, and we actually raised the track bar. So the rear is actually only lifted 2 inches. We raised the track bar about 6 inches to lower the center of gravity in the rear of the truck and keep it planted. So what that means is if you're going around a corner and you hit a bump, most trucks, the rear end will want to kind of hop out a little bit. That keeps the center of gravity low and the mass of weight of the vehicle lower to keep it from hopping out from behind you.
If you're going fast and doing that, that can get scary.
Yeah, really can. Especially with no weight in the rear.
Right.
That helps mediate that significantly. Even if you jump in this and drive it, that's one of the main reasons it feels so much more responsive than a typical 2500, is because the rear end stays planted and is more predictable on what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sway bar end links as well, just to keep the sway bar at the correct angle. The rear bumper, this is a funny story. So the rear bumper on the 4th gen trucks, we didn't get it developed in time. So the 4th gen 2500s, all of them had factory rear bumpers. And we must have gotten a couple hundred letters from people like, when is this bumper going to be out? When is this bumper going to be out? And it all came down to fitment, safety, but most importantly, if you're going to off-road this thing, the bumper needs to protect your bed. Okay, when you're going off-roading, the most vulnerable area on any vehicle is the corners. You come off of a rock, the first thing that's going to smash is this corner. You look at any Toyota Tacoma or Tundra that's going off-road, they always lose their bumpers or the bed of the truck. So what we had to do is this mandrel bent tube steel wraps around, goes to the frame, and comes over here, goes back to the frame again. So you have 2 frame attachment points to support the weight, which kind of makes it ideal for recovery. So again, you have cast iron recovery points, same weight rating as the front, a little over 2 times the weight of the vehicle each. Right above that is these roto-molded UV stable tanks, and again, the reason we use these plastic tanks instead of metal is these are perishable. These are meant to absorb impact. So if for some reason this were to bend, this will absorb the impact and save your bed and your tailgate. These pop off, they're like $100, you buy a new one, and you save $2,000 in body damage or buying a new bed.
Okay.
that was the idea. We've literally had people total their trucks or wreck their trucks, and nobody's ever had to replace these. These get scuffed up, and we sell touch-up paint, you're good to go. But the idea is if this does ever bend, this will absorb the impact and save your bed. Little cup holder. Park sensors again.
Thought of everything compartment again.
Yes.
Somewhere to put your beer.
It's funny. It's even got the little cutout just so you signify it as like a cup holder, you know. But then you got backup lights or camp lights, whatever you want to call them. Those are wired into the factory auxiliary switch. So turn them on when you're setting up camp or backing up to your trailer to hook up. Just makes it a lot easier. Again, this is an aftermarket bumper, but you still got your trailer wire hookups. You still have a light for your license plate. Even little things like this is a cutout to release your spare tire. So the factory spare tire is still there for emergencies only. I mean, the factory spare is like a 31-inch tire. If you have to use it, put it on the front axle and at low speeds, just to tell people. But then you have the actual full-size spare, this guy. And again, this truck is optioned like perfectly. That's my favorite. We have two options: a vertical tire mount, which is this one, and then a flat bed mount. So the vertical tire mount is pretty self-explanatory. It stands it up in the bed. That giant twist knob there, you can spin it, and the tire comes off. But then also, if you want to walk around here, it's kind of cool. There's a hole here, and then straight down in there, there's a second hole, and that's actually for a shovel. So you can put a shovel here.
Yeah.
So if you're off-roading, that's like one of the most basic essential needs is a shovel, just to dig out the dirt or dig out the snow. So you have a little home for it.
Do you sell an AEV shovel?
No, we don't.
Haven't gotten there yet.
No joke. I literally just go to Lowe's, buy like an Ames one, and like even on the Wranglers, we have an option to mount them that way too. But just chop it to whatever length you want and throw it in there. But what's nice about this one is you can spin it off, take it out, and put it on, and it looks really cool when you're going down the road. Just the side profile is mean as hell with this vertical tire. The second option is a flat mount. So we get rid of the tire carrier. The tire lays flat in the bed. We put 4 holes in the bed, and we ratchet strap it down to the bed. The benefit to that is all of that is removable, so you can use your bed. This one, if you take the tire out, you still have the vertical tire mount, which can kind of be in the way, but this just looks significantly better, and it's easier to get the tire off.
You're also moving more weight further back in the truck.
Yeah.
Over the axle, so that could improve handling, I would think.
If it was hundreds of pounds, but that versus a foot further back with 150 pounds, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference.
Yeah.
It does affect visibility, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, little things, the AEV branding and badging. Step plate. Another big one is the factory hitch receiver. The reason I say that it's a big deal is you look at a lot of aftermarket bumpers, and what they do is they throw this away, and then they cut a piece out of their bumper for your tow hitch. The problem with that is your warranty for your towing or is only valid if you're keeping the factory hitch receiver. You put somebody else's hitch receiver, I don't care if your bike falls off, that's on you. So you're only going to maintain your warranty for towing if you have the factory hitch receiver. Kind of a big deal. We do the same thing with the Wranglers.
Yeah.
Around to this side, same stuff applies. The DOT marker, even splash guards for keeping mud off of other people and for DOT compliance. This one being a diesel, if you notice the exhaust right there, right after the axle is cut and modified to clear the bumper. Doesn't change the sound. All the mufflers and resonators are all still there. It's just different angles so it clears the bumper. Come around to this side. Open up the door again. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the most important things on the vehicle. This is what signifies the vehicle as a true AEV built vehicle. It's not a clone. Similar to like Roush, I guess you could say. Like if you jump on eBay, you can buy a Roush supercharger. That doesn't mean you have a Roush Mustang.
Right.
And the resale value reflects that as well. Like if you look at the resale value of any of these vehicles, the first thing any customer is going to ask you is it a real one? Did AEV build it? What's your build number? Is it a clone? Where's the headrest? Where's the instrument cluster? And that makes a huge difference on the resale value. So like in this case, this top left column here is 8 of 22, so that's the manufactured time. The second column is the model year, so this is a 2022, and it's the 136th Prospector XL we built of the 2022 model year. Okay, so this build number, if people ask, what's your build number? It's 136. last eight of the VIN number, and then the designation of this truck. It's a Prospector XL. Kind of cool. XL is Roman numeral for 40, so it's a reference to the tire size.
Okay.
So we also make a standard Prospector
Yeah.
without the XL, and that's a 37-inch tire. But the XL is the more sought after, the big guy. So what your customer does, take this information. There's that card on the visor over there. It says AEVregistry.com. They jump on that, register themselves as the owner. That activates their warranty, which the warranty on this is a big deal, by the way. All of the factory surfaces are still 100% under the factory warranty. All of the AEV surfaces we put a lifetime warranty on, with the exception of like the perishable stuff, like the tires, obviously. So when it comes down to warranty, they can take it to any AEV shop. And a lot of non-AEV shops have been really good about working with it, as long as they know who we are. It usually just comes down to pictures, and we are really good about warranting stuff. So they register themselves as the owner, and then when they do that, we send them out a welcome kit. It's a box that says "Welcome to the Herd," which is like a reference to the bison, our logo. We'll ask them what their shirt size is, so we can send them out a shirt, AEV leather keychain, wallet, a passport holder, and then they get emails on like, "Hey, this is a new product that came out for your truck if you want to check it out," or "Hey, we're going to California to do the Rubicon," or "We're going to Moab or Easter Jeep and we see that you're a local customer, you want to come." So that type of stuff is really cool. And then also things like if there's a warranty issue, like if we notice that we're having whatever type of concern, if we had a batch of bad tires and we notice that your customer's in that range, we could proactively reach out to them before there's an issue. So that's kind of cool too. Questions about any of that?
No.
It's all calibrated and programmed for the tires, so there's no extra switches or buttons. We use the factory aux switches for the lights. There's no learning curve or anything like that to learn to drive the vehicle. The speedometer is accurate. The shift points are accurate. We have a little ProCal to calibrate all that. So it's a diesel truck on 40s. You still get like 17 miles a gallon because the diesel just eats up the tires. Window sticker, it's pretty self-explanatory. First column is all the standard equipment that came on the truck. Okay, so this is all the stock stuff that came on it before AEV touched it. So $79,000. This center column is the standard equipment that AEV puts on the vehicle in order for it to qualify to be an official AEV built vehicle. So this is a standard Prospector XL package. For us to brand it and badge it as an official AEV XL, it has to have this content. So you can go through it line by line, but basically the stuff I just mentioned to you. So that brings you to an additional $20,900. That's parts and labor, obviously. This far optional equipment column is what makes this one so badass. So this is all the additional stuff that this has to separate it from the other Prospector XLs. So that's the stuff that I thought was cool, like the brush guard, the remote reservoir shocks, the two-tone, the paint appearance, the off-road lighting. I mean, pretty straightforward. The intercooler skid plate. So that's all the cool stuff that brings this one to $119. The $2,300 in shipping. It doesn't get shipped from Michigan to Jackson Hole for free. This size of vehicle requires a different type of carrier. For one, because it's so big, a lot of carriers can't carry it. But for two, the carrier has to be insured for a high enough dollar amount that if something does go wrong, they can cover it. So shipping is what it is, I guess. But and then you've got our website. All of our vehicles are on our website, so a customer can go in and see all of the inventory, but they can also see a copy of the window sticker. Yeah. So the reason that that's important is because a lot of people will bark at 120 grand, but if you look at any other Prospector XL out there, they're all in that same price point. AEV only selects dealers based on their location and how they are with business and have their reputation with the Better Business Bureau and how well they are at representing the market. And one of the qualifications in order to be an AEV dealer is you're not allowed to discount the vehicle. We feel it devalues the brand. So all of the prices are going to be the same whether it's here or you go to Larry H. Miller or you go to Huntington Beach. AEV regulates the pricing, so the dealers aren't allowed to discount. It kind of is what it is. It's part of the exclusivity of the brand. So that's about it.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah.